I want to start by asking you if any of these things that I'm going to show on the next slide are familiar to you. Now, I'm sure that they will be in some regard, and I want you to think about if any of these sort of resonate with where you are, and there's a reason for that. So let's take a look if any of these sound familiar. First of all, I think this is a given. You're putting in the hard work, putting in all the effort, you're really wanting to make sure that you are present when it comes to your business, to your website. You're doing everything from that side that you think you should be. You're creating great content. You're putting out there content that your audience needs, that's good value, that's good authority. You're doing as much as you can to put out good content, good products. You also caring about your audience. You want to serve them as best as you can. You want to provide them value. You want to support them. You're responding to emails, their comments. You're trying to do everything that you can in that regard. You're working on your website. You're doing all the stuff that needs to be done to juggle a website, all the moving parts, and you're doing everything there as well. To be just trying to build an honest business that gives you the results that you expect and deserve from all the hard work that you're putting in. But there's a chance that your website isn't delivering the results that you need, that you expect, and you sort of deserve for all the work that you're putting in. So does any of that sort of sound familiar? You might be at that stage now. You might be approaching that stage. You may have worked through that stage. Does any of that sort of sound familiar? Somewhere in that mix, something's not quite working as you want it to do. You're not getting the results. It's not a bad thing that that's where you are. It's good to acknowledge it, because what we're going to do in this session is we're going to work out how we get through that and how we get past that. Now, we see a lot of scenarios where we tend to think that the problem is it's our product. The product isn't right, or we're not working hard enough. We need to work more, or we need to change the way that we're operating. There's all these things that we blame, but often it's the website part that's the part that's potentially sort of causing a problem there or letting us down. So what I want to do is work out with you how we're going to get past that. So a key thing to understanding here, how you come past that side of things, is that every website has two sides to it. So the first side is what your visitors see. Now, what your visitors see is the design, the content, the layout, the brand. And then there's the side of things that the visitors see that's everything that behind the scenes. They don't get to see that. That's what you see, the side where you're managing behind the scenes. So that's all the tools, the plugins, the updates, the settings, and all the moving parts of that you are juggling to keep everything running. But what really determines how successful your site is how well those two sides are optimized to work together. Because if the back end of your site is clunky, if it's slow, it's complicated, then it limits what you can create on the front end, and also how effective what you show on the front end is. And this is where sort of most people get stuck, and their websites don't quite deliver the results that they need, or the sort of results, as we discussed, that you deserve, all that hard work you're putting in. So let's quickly have a look at what sort of really is happening to your website on the front end and what's happening on that back end. So we've got two sides to this. We've got most websites where you've got the front end side that your visitors see, and in most cases this isn't designed to convert visitors. Now, your site might look nice and it might have started off as a nice template, but over time with editing and stuff, you've worked it away from being conversion optimized, and now it's not doing the job in terms of converting visitors into leads and subscribers and customers. That's often to do with things like you haven't chosen the right font pairings, the right font colors. You've maybe got lots of different brand colors on your site. You've got things like different button colors, different headline fonts, and that isn't optimized to convert. So what happens is people come, but they leave. Now, inconsistent design is another thing we've noted here. So you might have multiple pages across your website. And if you look at your website and click between those pages, what you'll probably likely see is that there might be some inconsistent design. You probably see this on other websites as well, that they might have one logo on one page, a slightly different logo on another page, or different fonts, different color schemes. And that hurts things like trust. If people don't see consistency, they lose confidence and they lose trust. And that's a big reason why people are likely to leave your site as well. Now, another aspect to this is unclear messaging. Maybe you've got too many things going on your website or web pages on your website. Everything should be focused towards one or two goals as a maximum. So what happens is you might have download links, you might have an opt-in form, you might have subscribe, you might have join my calls, join my newsletter, buy my new product, download my lead magnet, all these different things, and it's unclear. And again, if you confuse, you lose. So what happens is people, again, they leave the site. So all this hard work you're doing, creating the good product, serving, it's all slowly, slightly, possibly being eroded by your website. You might just not notice these things. Now, another aspect to that is slow load times. Now, we are all impatient. I'm definitely like that. I go to something, I want an instant result, and your visitors are the same. Slow load times, as James likes to say, I think you say something like, James, you have 3 seconds to win 3 minutes.
That's the one. Yep.
That's the one. So really what happens is you want your site to load quickly so that visitors get the answers that they need, and then they stay. The longer they stay, the more likely they are to take action. Now, that slow load time can be as a result of stuff that you've done on the website, such as on the web pages, such as images that are too big, things like that. And then on the back end side, too much stuff slowing down the site as well. And ultimately, all of these things come to the point where you don't have a clear call to action and people are confused as to what steps they want to take. Your website should tell people, here's what I have, here's why you need it, here's how you get it. And often that call to action isn't clear enough. So without knowing it, your website might be slightly working against you on the front end. Now, when it comes to the back end, and this is most what we call tech stacks, the phrase tech stack means all the things that you have in your business that makes it function as an online website. So your CRM, your autoresponder, your website, your theme, all of those type of tools that you're using. Now, often on your website, by sort of habit, you end up with too many plugins. Now, you might have started out with just the OptimizePress plugin to build your web pages, but then you might have added an SEO plugin. You might have added some other plugins around GDPR and things like that. And then slowly you might have a different theme running from those plugins. You might have changed between themes and plugins. And what happens is you have too many. And then we have what we call sort of Frankenstein of tools. And you're trying to keep it all moving together, juggling all the plates, and anything that you want to change seems to take longer than it should. And one of those sort of simple things is you want to change, maybe say like the date of the footer on your website when we move into 2026, and you're updating it on every page, and all these type of things. They just add to the work that you have to do, and it always feels probably like you're doing endless tweaking and moving. You're a bit scared to touch anything because it's all working, but not quite working well. And if you're going to change it, you're worried that it might break. So all of this stuff means that your website is potentially not performing as you need it to. And from a business perspective, what it means is that rather than doing the thing that you are passionate about, the thing that you love, the thing that you're going to sell to everybody, the thing that you want to be known for, that sort of takes a little bit of a back seat. It doesn't get the attention that it needs because you're spending more time on managing and running your business, your website, all the integrations, all the various aspects to it, tweaking the pages, things like that. So you end up effectively using some of your time as a website manager, and that's not what you want to be doing. You want to be doing the thing that you love to do, the thing that you're going to sell, because then that means that you're going to serve an audience, you're going to make more sales, you're going to get more leads, spending all your time and focus on that rather than the website side of things. So this is the reason why we created the theme builder. When you're trying to manage all these different tools, you have all these various potential pitfalls. Now, with something like the theme builder in the OptimizePress suite, it sort of brings all of that together with the aim of you having to not use as many tools. And with the theme builder and the optimized templates, the optimized themes and designs, it means that you can straight sort of out of the box, you can sort of overcome a lot of these because we've designed them into the theme builder. James has got many years of experience in all of this conversion optimization, and that's the key thing. You don't just want a website, you want a conversion optimized website. So hopefully these sort of things resonate with you. I don't know that You might not experience all of them, but you experience some of them. You might not even know it, but you know it from the results. If your site isn't performing, this is somewhere that you need to pay attention and then you need to fix. Okay, so we've looked at that side of things. Let's have a look now at how we move from the frustration of a website that's maybe not performing as we need it to. Let's go from frustration to inspiration. And let's have a quick look at how successful creators are turning the websites into real results, what they're doing to move from having that scenario where their sites are not converting and they're managing lots of tech stacks. So again, it's not about working harder or changing your product. It's about having a site that converts and how that's built in the background. Now, the good news is there are a lot of successful people out there that have already figured out that having a conversion optimized site and a simple tech stack is the key to getting amazing results. We're going to look at a few examples of creators, leaders, authorities, so that we can see how they're getting their consistent results online. Because using the theme builder, these examples, you're going to be able to copy and emulate really easily. And that's the big success win that you're going to get. So let's take a look. First of all, you might be a coach in the coaching space. You might be working towards being an authority. You might already be an authority coach in your space. And you might be looking to build sort of the brands like those people that we look up to in those spaces, the Amy Porterfields, the Michael Hyatts, the Daniel Islands. And you might want to copy the sites that they're producing, and that's what the theme builder will allow you to do. So if we look at these examples here, Amy Porterfield, big in the sort of coaching, the course space, very successful entrepreneur. Again, when we look at these examples here, what you can see is a very consistent site, a very simple site, clean headlines, nice color branding, all consistent across the site. She's using this site to, share and promote her free guide, her podcast, and sell her courses. Again, if we look at Danielle Ireland, again, in that coaching space, it's very similar to Amy, that consistent design, the branding, the color schemes, everything working there. And it's very clear on these sites what actions that they need people to take. Do you want to work with this person, listen to their podcast? Nothing confusing here. So they're converting visitors. Their website is doing all the hard work for them. And having met a lot of these people, spent time around them, I know that in the back end, they keep things very simple. Some of them have reached the point now where they probably have someone running their websites for them. But with the theme builder, we can emulate a lot of this success so that you can move to the point where you get someone to emulate and run your sites for you while you continue to focus on the growth and the business side of things. Now, maybe you're a specialist in your niche. You've carved out your little area online. You're a specialist in that area, and you want to use your site, or you're using your site for content marketing to bring in that SEO traffic, incredibly powerful, good quality, qualified, free traffic. And you want to use your site, or you're using your site, but you just want to get better results from it. You want to emulate people like, you've got Brittany Carmichael here, who's a life coach. You've got Kim Perry, who's a fitness coach. We've got Wim Hof, who's the wellness coach. So you've heard of him. So if we look at examples from their sites here, you can see again, that sort of same thing, that branded site across, conversion optimized, clean, simple design. Wim Hof, again, clear goal. When you go to his site, get his mini courses, it's all about driving you to his app, and a lot of stuff's done on his app. But again, there's that consistency in the design. Now, maybe you might be a software company, you might be an offline business, an online business, and you want to run a sort of company updates blog. You want to share your story, your latest news, your new products. All of that stuff is incredibly powerful. You'll see some great examples here of big companies doing that. There's a reason why they do it. It's because it works. We want to emulate that success as well. Now, you can easily do this, especially if you might be an agency. So you might have clients and you want to do these things for clients. You want to run a company update blog for them. You want to share the story, the latest news, things like that. So you can do that very easily using the theme builder across multiple clients. You might be an offline business like a plumber, something like that, where you want to share, you've moved to a new premise, you've bought a new van, you've got some new equipment, all of that type of stuff can all be done on a product company updates blog. So examples of that are companies like Notion, Wistia, Obviously, Notion is a huge company, but again, we're looking for the clues. They're doing what we're saying. They're doing this same thing. So they've got an authority blog there where they're sharing product updates, introducing their new features and things like that. Great way to bring in traffic, updating your customers, keeping them engaged with you. The same here for Wistia. They do a great job of that as well. Now, when you look at your website, another advantage that you might want to try and bring, you might already be doing this, is a great way to bring in traffic, and that's your sort of newsletters, niche newsletters. These are so popular and they're so powerful. Now, one of the benefits of a sort of running a niche newsletter through your website, through your blog, is it's a great way to communicate value to your audience without having to do a lot of work yourself. So once you understand the concept, if you're running a newsletter, you're just collating the information from your industry and then sharing that with your audience. So someone else is doing a lot of the hard work. You're just collating it. You're sharing it with your audience through your blog, through your website. And what happens there is some of that information of value that you're sharing, you get the sort of reciprocity for that because you've shared it. So people that are great at this, people that you probably might look up to, you might have seen before, these are building those authority newsletters, and these help you to build authority in your niche. People like Ali Abdul, who was a doctor, started YouTubing his story, became a huge content creator, now is a huge content creator. James Clear and his Atomic Habits book, Brian Dean with the SEO blog. So if we look at their websites again, here we can see those nice optimized for conversion designs, clear calls to action, join up for my newsletter, delivering the newsletter through his site. The same again with James Clear. He likes a nice clear website because it's in his name, James Clear. And then again, we've got Brian Dean here, who used to run the Backlinkio site. He's got a newsletter there for getting tips into your inbox, sharing everything about SEO. And again, it's all run in this nice conversion optimized format. He did so well, Brian, that in running this site, that he actually sold it, I think, for about $4 million. He did so well sharing newsletter content. So it's a great way for you to be able to communicate value to your audience. So the key with sharing these websites that look professional, that deliver amazing results from all these successful people, is to sort of show you that whatever niche, whatever industry, or whatever goal you have for your website, we can emulate these using the new theme builder. We also, in the back end, are going to have that much simpler tech stack because everything's going to be run with the theme builder alongside the other OptimizePress tools. So it means you don't need as much management, and again, freeing up your time so you can focus on what's most important, which is serving your audience, growing and scaling your business.